Today's video, I'm going to show you how I built this awesome Witch's Cottage facade for my home haunt entirely out of foam. Hello, my name is Ashley. I am a home haunter, a Halloween enthusiast, and a prop builder. And this is Memento Mori Curiosities and Prop, where I show you step by step every detail that goes into making these so that you can make them for yourself. So before we get into the step-by-step of this build, let me show you my plans. So this facade has 3 panels, a middle one that has a rather large kind of Salem-esque northeastern classic roof on it, a panel with a door, and then another window panel on the other side that is peaked and has this cute little round window in it. And when it is out in my yard haunt, that is exactly what it's going to look like. But I also need to be able to use this as the set background for my YouTube studio. And my garage is not tall enough to accommodate that huge roof. So part of my plan was to make sure that roof was completely detachable so that when it's here in the studio as my set background, it is mounted to a rolling frame. That allows me to move it out of the way because I got a lot of material stored behind here. Also, when it's in here, I took off one of the windows and added this custom 3D logo sign that I made for myself because, I'll also show you how I did this really cool lightning effect in this window behind me. The other window, when it's out in the yard, will have the same effect. It should be really, really cool on a dark October night. Now, here is a list of materials that I used. Be sure you pause and screenshot this so you can reference it later. And without further ado, let's get started. First, let's build the wall panels. Using a T-square, mark horizontal lines 5 inches apart all down the board. Using a router with a 1/4 inch straight bit, carve gaps between the boards. I set the depth of the bit somewhere between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 inch. It's really up to you. These don't have to be very deep to get a realistic wood board effect. And then you're going to want to have an unpaid intern hold the T-square to use it as a guide to keep the cut straight, or just use an actual guide if you have one. The old wood board texture can be achieved many ways, but the lazy girl way is to use a wire brush and just scrape the hell out of the foam. Make sure you scrape in the same direction as your gaps, and then vary the pressure as you go, making the gouges deeper in some areas and lighter in others. And most importantly, add a wave pattern occasionally, because real wood grain isn't straight 100% of the time. Lastly, I use the short end of the wire brush to create knots and even deeper gouges. Grab your heat gun and go over the whole wall panel, focusing on the scrapes you just made with the wire brush. The heat gun will make them deeper and wider, and it will harden the foam to make it more durable when it's out in the elements and make it easier to paint. Just be careful not to heat up the gaps between the boards too much that you just routed out, or it'll make them too wide. Next, give the whole wall panel a thick coat of black paint. Your goal is to make sure no pink is showing, especially in all the gaps and cracks that you just carved. I paint a lot of props, so I use a paint sprayer. It's the quickest way to get 100% gap and crack coverage, but if you don't have a paint sprayer, a high nap roller and a paintbrush can do the job. When the black base coat is dry, you're going to start layering shades of green and brown using a dry brush technique. Now, my favorite method is to dump a little bit of the paint right onto my work table and get one of these cheap trim painting pads. Then just gently wipe it over the prop, and you can see that it leaves a very realistic, weathered effect when you do this. And so I started with a darker green, then I layered on some warm brown, then a little bit of beige, then a lighter green. The look you're going for is a rundown 200-year-old New England cottage with faded paint and rotting wood. Part 2, the windows. Draw and cut out your designs on a slab of 1-inch thick foam insulation board. And I like to cut using either a jigsaw or a really sharp utility knife. Load a 1/4-inch rabbiting bit into a router to add molding detail to the front of the windows and a ledge to the back of the windows. Using a wire brush and a heat gun, repeat the process you used earlier to create wood grain texture on the front of the windows. Add a base coat of black paint, and then once that's dry brush on a light layer of tan to create a weathered black paint effect. Once the windows are dry, you can add the glass panes. I like to use sheets of thin acrylic PET glass or plexiglass. You can order packages of these on Amazon pretty inexpensively. It's very lightweight and it's easy to cut with a utility knife, so you don't need any crazy tools. And once you cut them down, use a hot glue gun to secure the panes to the backs of the windows. Lightly mist a few layers of spray paint onto the backside of the panes to get a dirty window effect. I started with a layer of frosted glass effect spray paint. You can get it at the home improvement store. And then I followed by scattering spritzes of warm brown and beige in layers until it just looked the way that I wanted it to look. And when we were finished with the windows, we just sort of dry fit them on the wall panels to make sure everything looked the way we wanted before we moved on to the next step. Part 3, we're going to trim the wall panels down and add a roof. Start by trimming the corners off the top of the wall panel. Add 2 pieces of 1/2-inch thick foam insulation to the peak with some liquid nails. This will be your roof, and liquid nails Fuse It is my favorite foam adhesive because it grips quickly and is still forgiving if you make a mistake and need to move the piece around. It does take 24 hours to cure, so while you wait, you can work on cutting the roof tiles. The material I like to use for roof tiles is foam cushioning. It is cheap, it's easy to paint and cut to size, it's 100% waterproof because it's foam, it's flexible, it's bendable, and it looks, in my opinion, the most like a real roof tile when it's on a prop. Lay a couple of sheets of the foam across a work table and then paint it a solid base layer of black. Add some layers of brown and beige with the same spray paint you use to paint the windows. And again, you just want it to be random, so hold the can a little further away and then spritz the paint on randomly. This doesn't need to be perfect because in the next step, you'll cut the foam into square tiles. And again, your cuts should not be perfectly symmetrical. The more abstract they are, the better and more realistic it will look once you glue it all onto the roof. Which subsequently is the next step. Hot glue your tiles to the roof, starting with the lowest tiles and then layering the next tile right above it about halfway. So there's like an overlap about halfway. And then repeat that layering until you get to the top. Now you could stop here, it looks good, but I like to add a little piece of trim to keep the edge of the roof line clean, and a couple of strips of camper seal cut to size is perfect for this job. It is already sticky when you buy it, but you're gonna wanna hot glue it down just in case to make sure that it holds, and then paint it the same way you painted the windows with a coat of black and then a light dry brush of that tan color. The very last step is to add a little bit of black paint to the roof. This is a dry brushing technique. Put a little bit on the bottom edges, blend it out, and then put a little bit on the sides, kind of filling it in diagonally. This will give it the effect that it's been sitting in the rain for the last 100 years getting weathered. It just makes your roof tiles look a little bit more realistic, and I do this on all of my roofs. With the roof done, it's time to start attaching the panels. I wanted the peaked panel and the door panel to have a recessed look. So what I did was cut 2 lengths of 1/2 inch thick insulation foam into 5-inch wide strips that were as tall as my panels. Use a wire brush and a heat gun to add the wood texture effect to the strips the same way you did to the wall panels, and then paint them the same way you painted the windows with a base coat of black and then a dry brush of tan on top. Now, gluing these was tricky. I started with the middle panel face down. I shimmed it up so that it was 1 inch off the ground, and then liquid nails to the 2 trim pieces to the side. And then I just added pressure with some paint cans and some weights to make sure that it adhered really good. You got to let it cure 24 hours when you're using liquid nails. And then come back, flip it over onto its back, and basically repeat the process, but you're going to glue the side panels to those 2 trim pieces. And when you're done, you should wind up with this like 4-inch lip where the 2 panels on the sides of the middle panel are recessed. Speaking of frame, let's go ahead and build that next. So if you remember from the beginning of the video, this set needs to be able to stand upright on its own. And I need to be able to roll it out of the way because I store materials behind it here in my workshop. The frame was very haphazardly rigged together with some 2x4s, plywood, and wheels that I got at the home improvement store. I did custom measure the frame to fit my prop. I'm no woodworker, so I will not wax poetic about how amazing this frame is. Just know it functions as intended, and despite a minor setback getting the panels to fit on it, I persevered and got it all to work by cutting some foam away and just shoving it in there. Now, the panels are zip tied to the frame using those pieces of scrap wood that I liquid nails to the back of them earlier. This makes it really easy to remove the panels from the frame when I need to carry them outside to set them up on my haunted trail. I even attached a surge protector to the back of the frame so I could plug in LED lighting. Fancy, I know. Part 5, the thunderstorm effect in the windows. Now, the windows at this point were not permanently attached because I was waiting on a thunderstorm LED lighting kit to come in the mail. Instead of doing just some plain backlighting, I decided that I wanted to create a lightning effect in the window. I just thought it would look cool on camera because this is going to be the background of my YouTube videos. Basically, I added the cotton from the kit to the backside of the window using some Loctite spray adhesive, and then I hot glued the LED strip in a random zigzag pattern over top of that. I drilled a hole into the wall panel so that I could run the cord through the back of the panel and then plug it in on the surge protector that I already have attached to the back of that frame. Because the cotton in the LED strip was so puffy, it made the window like not sit flush against the wall. So I ended up adding a strip of that camper seal around the whole window to make it look like it is actually sitting flush against the wall. And then I used some liquid nails to glue the window to the wall. And again, with the camper seal, just hit it with a base coat of black and then dry brush the tan so that it matches the window. Part 6, finishing touches. Like I said earlier, I didn't want to add all 3 of the windows to the prop while it's in the studio. So instead, I added this custom 3D sign that I made of my logo you know, branding and all that. I think it's cute. I added that to the right panel, and then I did put the little circular window over top of that. And last but not least, I added some vines using real vine stems that I salvaged from the woods behind my house last year. And then I pulled some greenery off of an old string of garland and wrapped the greenery around those real stems. I like to do this if I can when I'm adding greenery to props. I just think it looks way more realistic than anything that you can buy in a store. Now I'm going to get started on part 2 where I show you how to make this roof. Spoiler alert, it's not ready yet. I really hope you guys like this build as much as I did. Just a reminder, that's just part 1. And how I get this thing all set up in my yard, the whole witch coven scene, from this facade to the atmospherics and other special effects to the animatronics and everything that goes into making a haunt scene really spectacular. If this video has inspired you to create your own Halloween facade for your haunt, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel.